This past week, the Department of Justice of the US released thousands of files related to Jeffrey Epstein, and here they are. Yeah, it's just black lines. Wow, those were the files. The ones we were waiting for so long. The ones people anticipated for so long that the Department of Justice had a waiting line before they released these files. Like you're waiting to buy tickets for a concert. People stood in line for the release of all these documents, and this is what they got. Insane. What you just saw was launched in a public database named Epstein Library, and it's available online. You can go check it out. And this drop has roughly 3,900 files. People are frustrated and within their right because it's nothing new. Out of all of these files, at least 550 pages are fully redacted. But not only that, we also got photos and handwritten investigative notes. However, the photos are also not groundbreaking. There was a big focus on Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was in a lot of photos next to blurred faces of victims, and that is alarming. However, not surprising. Other celebrities in the photos were Michael Jackson, although there is questions if these photos are not just from public events. There's also Mick Jagger, Kevin Spacey, Bill Gates, amongst many others. And again, this is not surprising. I mean, whoever I see in there does not shock me anymore. I just expect whatever from now on. I don't think there could even be any celebrity that will leave me in a big state of shock. Moving on, this is not all the files. The Department of Justice announced that this will be part of a new cycle of releases. There will be new drops in the upcoming weeks or months, which is crazy to say. There will be a new drop, like it's like some album or something that's coming out. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of this video. I want to tell you why we get so many releases that are so empty, nothing is surprising, and this case never gets fully solved. But before I go into that, I want to tell you that things are even messier. Amongst all of those popular faces, there was one that we are already familiar with, which is Donald Trump. He was in many photos. There was specifically 2 files, I believe, that showed a drawer with many photos of him, Melania, and Jeffrey. However, these photos and files disappeared a day later. Why? We don't know yet. However, some of them have been put back after another day. So that is interesting. I am guessing there was a mistake. They were never supposed to get out, and they realized that it got out. They took it down, and then since people were like, where is it? Like, why did you take that out? They were like, oh, oopsie. But that is insane because we're talking about the Department of Justice of one of the biggest powers in the world, and I feel like if they didn't want to let that out, they wouldn't have, but they did, and then they took it out again, and it's just so confusing, frustrating, and just shows this lack of honesty in all that is around this case. What the fuck is that? Oh, it's birds. There's like this flock of birds flying in the sky, and it literally looked like a UFO, and I was about to turn into one of those people that says they saw a UFO once. Maybe this is what happens when people say they saw UFOs. I'm going crazy with this. They did give a small justification as to why they put it back on the website. It's because they said that they thought there was victims exposed in the photos, but after some re-investigation they realized that it's okay and they put it back up, which, I mean, if you already redacted so many files, I'm guessing you already went through that one also. I don't know, it just feels like a very bad excuse, and it probably is a very bad excuse. I want to explain first why the redaction and why this usually happens, because a lot of people are very quick to go into the whole conspiracy theory part of this, which is fair, honestly, after all of this rage bait. But so you understand why this happens. It is because of legal constraints, like victims' privacy, sealed materials, and documents that can only be seen by the grand jury. Also, they don't want to give out information without context, but we're going to talk about that later. And also mistakes. Now, while I think this is all just rage bait and not true at all, it's because you cannot tell me that they fully redacted more than 500 pages just because there's victims' names in it. I don't think that makes any sense. It is clearly because there's powerful people being mentioned in these documents and those people are being protected. I think that's very clear and anyone can see through that. If you're not really seeing through that and you truly genuinely believe the opposite, I don't know what to tell you, man. Hi again, it's me a couple of days later, and I want to update you on something that I just found out. So you saw those news that I put there, like a screenshot from the newspaper The Guardian, where it says that hackers have been able to unredact the files. Well, that is not really true because it's not hackers. What happens is that the FBI is so incompetent that they redacted the files using black highlighter and not actually the redacting tool. So so basically, if you copy paste, you can paste the unredacted parts of the files and you can read it. And a lot of people have read it and they have found out that it's not actually redacting minors or victims' names, it's just unnecessary stuff. And yeah, this just proves the incompetence of the people doing this and lies. But yeah, let's continue with the video. This is just absurd, honestly. The thing about these files and this whole case is if they wanted us to know the truth, we would have years ago. And if we don't know the bottom of this by now, we probably won't ever, because there's just too many powerful people involved in this, which is very sad because of the victims who went through awful treatment and awful experiences that no one should ever go through. And this case is just disgusting. I'm laughing so I can cope with the sadness of all of this. Now, what is even worse is how this is linked to profit and how this is linked to marketing, because don't be fooled. There's a reason why we keep getting releases. Because you may ask me, okay, if they don't want to tell us, why do they keep doing these empty releases and why are we stuck in the cycle of no answers? The reason is people are making money with this. Those same powerful people who should be getting arrested are making money with this. And those are the people behind media companies who are behind all the advertisement you see when articles about this come out. Because every few months there's these big releases with really nothing on it. But even though there's nothing on it, all media outlets are covering it. There's multiple articles about what's in it, how to read it, who's in it, what this implies, when it truly implies nothing. And not only that, it is on the news, on the TV. There's a lot of discourse around this, and of course, people are profiting of it. The fact that there's a waiting line, that there's a disappointment, even your own disappointment is making profit for these companies, because then you go on Twitter or you go whatever on social media and you say, damn, I was really hoping for something, we won't ever get this. And I get it, I'm also making content about this empty release and how frustrating all of that is. But that is because I want to give you this message that I will talk about after. But the fact that you're even speaking on it will make people then go look more for it, and it's like a snowball. So in a way, this all ties into the attention economy, the rage bait marketing strategy, and it's crazy because this is a very serious case, an enraging case, and this is the government. When I'm trying to be fooled by some company trying to sell me something, I'm like, fine, like, you want to make money, okay, but this is the government. When the government is so blatantly corrupt like this, it makes me feel insane, because it makes us look like we are the dumb ones and we are the ones that should be quiet and should just accept whatever they're giving us. But it's really not. It's just really stupid. Like, obviously Donald Trump was involved in this. I mean, allegedly, not obviously. and he will never pay for whatever he allegedly did. What can I say about this? But anyways, this is also a technique to polarize us and lead into tribal interpretation. Some people will say that, for example, now Bill Clinton, oh no, it's not only Donald Trump, it's not only the bad ones, Bill Clinton is also on it. Of course he is. He is a rich politician. Of course he is. No one is surprised about this. If whoever clings onto this is people who don't want to get crushed by reality. But yeah, going back to polarization, I already talked about why we are so attracted to polarization and why it is used against us in my previous video. If you want to go check it out, it creates this arena where there is one against another, and where there's one side of the opinions against the other side. It will keep us fighting against one another, telling each other that I'm right, you're wrong, and vice versa, while we're not really getting mad at people we should really be getting mad at, which is the US government and the Department of Justice for not doing their job. That leads me to also another point, which is this is clearly a distraction from everything that's happening in the world. I really don't know, and I can talk for sure how it is to live in America, because I'm not American. I've never even stepped foot in it. Nor I probably will after I post this video. I probably won't be let into that country. I wonder sometimes, how is media coverage really there? How are people really seeing what happens in the rest of the world? How, for example, the latest events between the US and Venezuela, the Ukrainian war, the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, all of those things, how is it really portrayed in American media? I'm very curious about that, and how this is clearly a distraction, because there has been big events lately this past week, and it all feels very matched. However, again, I don't want to make this a conspiracy theory video, because all of this is really right on our noses. Like, we can't really say, you can say that I'm going too far into this, but it's really not. Like, people are just clearly getting led on by this, and it's very obviously a political ploy. So what I want to get to is to tell you that stop caring about this. I think the best for all of us is to accept that we will never get to the truth of this. I understand that you really want to get to the bottom of this and do your investigative work. Believe me, I also do, and I would love to understand what really happened there. All we can really do right now is listen to the victims and believe them. We won't be able to do anything more, unfortunately, because as I said, there's just too many powerful people involved with this. So there will be more releases now. Don't feel like there will be anything explosive in any of it, because there won't. It will be more of this, and the thing is, the more attention we give to it, the more they will try to fit on it. So what I advise everyone is just to not give any attention to it. Don't care about it. Just say that Jeffrey Epstein is a terrible human, and everyone else involved in this case is also a terrible person, that it heinous acts. They should be in prison for it. However, there is really nothing we can do. We should all just move on with our lives, because the more we look for it, the more we try to understand it, the more these people are making money of it, and they're laughing at us. They're literally laughing at us as we get distracted by these things. If still after all of this you still say, but hey, they said this, they wanted to be transparent, that this was an important thing, that they were trying to be honest and come up with these files. Let me tell you what an honest and transparent release would look like, because it is very common to view this like yeah, that's just what the government does, because it is what the government does every time. But we get used to this, and then we start accepting this because this is our reality, unfortunately. But a real release would not just redact everything and just give us black lines and empty files. If indeed they didn't want to give us information without context, but still had to redact truly 500 files, they could do it, redact it, but then give us an extra document explaining why it is redacted. Is it really because it has victims in it? If so, what was then the document about. If not, tells us this document was about this and we cannot provide further information, hence why it's redacted. And in another times, instead of redacting everything, if they truly feel like there's no context, then give us the damn context. Or sometimes there's a mention of a person, but they redact it also because they don't want to make any leading assumptions when they're not really being treated as guilty. So they could just say this person was mentioned here, however, this and this and this. That will be what an honest release would feel like. This type of release is on purpose. It leads people to have this type of obsessive behavior, trying to understand everything when they are not meant to make you understand anything at all. This is a system that repeatedly turns the performance of transparency into a spectacle. If people genuinely wanted the truth and accountability, the demand has to shift. Going back to the advice I gave you, instead of wanting always the next drop, give us more, just say, gives us releases that are stable, gives us context, and something that can be independently reviewable, with clear redaction rules and survivor-centered protections. Because otherwise, we stay in the same loop: hype, disappointment, suspicion, rage, conspiracy theories, waiting for the new release, and these releases feel more like a special event with a teaser rather than a legal procedure. Guys, that was all I wanted to tell you today. I told myself I wouldn't make a video about this, but I really wanted to give you this message. I know that with this video I am giving more attention to it, but I am giving it attention this once. I hope you'll hear me out. I hope you follow the advice, or if you have more things to say, please let me know in the comments. This is a serious issue because this is truly horrifying what happened, and it really frustrates me. To prepare for this video, I went through some files. The photos are so creepy to look at. I don't want to look at it again. I urge you to not look at it unless you really must, because it's not good for your mental health, you know? Like, it's not good to be looking at that. It reminds you of some human atrocities. If you're struggling with mental health, don't look at it. Don't put yourself in that position. Everything is just very creepy about this. I just don't think it's worth it. So yeah, if you have more opinions, if you have more thoughts, let me know. If you like more deep dives into politics, I have a bunch of those in my channel. Feel free to check it out. And I post a new video every Friday, so I will see you next Friday, which will already be in 2026. So I guess I will see you next year. Bye!